Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to take up Act 1, Scene 2 of the play Loyalties, composed by John Galsworthy. The second scene of Act 1 is set in D. Levi's bedroom. It's almost the same as Vincer's bedroom. The scene begins with the investigation by the inspector. He arranges the room as it was at the time of the theft. Then he puts a lot of questions to D. Levi's about his movement in his room and also about the time when he came up, the time when he went to take his bath, and the time he spent in undressing. After having completed his investigations, the inspector suggests four possible ways in which the money could have been stolen. He then calls up D. Levi's personal servant and asks him also many questions about his movements. After dismissing him, the inspector checks the keys of all the rooms along the corridor to make sure that door was not open when with one of them. After having completed his investigation inside the room, the inspector goes out to examine the ground outside the house to search for footmarks. As soon as he leaves the room in the company of Windsor, D. Levice becomes excited, and in his excited condition, he tells General Canning that he knows the thief. General Canning is astonished. He explains to the astonished general that the person who stole the money was clever and cool enough to wrench the creeper near the balcony in order to put the police investigator in confusion. Levice takes the general outside and shows him the distance between his own balcony and the balcony on the right. The distance is 7 feet. Then he says that if a man can take a standing jump onto a bookcase 4 feet high and balance there, it would be perfectly easy for him to jump from one balcony to another. In this statement, D. Levice was referring to a trick Dancy had performed earlier that same evening and won a bet from D. Levice. He then points out that the inner corner of the creeper was crushed. Thus, he indirectly suggests that the money has been stolen by Captain Dancy. General Canning immediately understands the insinuation. He tells him that Dancy is a soldier and a gentleman, and hence D. Levi's charge is extraordinary. D. Levi's now speaks out clearly and says that it is an accusation and not an insinuation. He explains that he has understood the truth intuitively. Canning says that unless he withdraws his charge, he must be confronted with Captain Dancy. D. Levice, however, is not at all frightened by this threat. General Canning feels that D. Levice has jumped to a conclusion without any evidence. It's a mad thing to do, but D. Levice says that Dancy jumped to more foolish conclusion. D. Levice means to say that Dancy perhaps thought that even if the theft were discovered, no one would dare to accuse him because he is a member of the aristocratic society. But this conclusion of Dancy was more foolish than D. Levice's conclusion. that Dancy had stolen his money. D. Lewis also says that if he had stolen the money from Dancy, the behavior of the people would have been very different. He means to say that the English people would have sent him to jail without any hesitation. General Canning explains that his behavior towards D. Lewis is not special or strange. He says that he feels that since they are staying in Windsor House, they have a duty to protect his reputation. Besides, since they are members of a civilized and cultured group, they must not violate the spirit of cooperation that exists among its members. D. Lewis makes an insulting remark that makes General Canning very angry. Nevertheless, he explains to D. Lewis very patiently that if this accusation had been made in the old days of swords, when people fought duels with those who tried to destroy their reputation by false accusations, either Dancy or D. Lewis would have been killed in the duel. Now, in the present day society, both of them would lose their prestige and good reputation. General Canning tries his best to persuade D. Lewis to withdraw his accusation. D. Lewis refuses to do so. When Windsor comes into the room, Canning is forced to tell him about the accusation, which shocks Windsor also. Then both Windsor and Canning try to dissuade D. Lewis from his foolish accusation, but in vain. Canning decides that they must inform Dancy, and hence Dancy is called in. On his arrival, Canning asks him a number of questions in order to find out if he knew that D. Lewis had obtained the money from Kentman, the bookie. Dancy denies any knowledge of the money. After his departure, Canning warns D. Lewis not to say anything to the police inspector, who comes in soon after. After the inspector's departure, while D. Lewis is not present in the room, Canning informs Windsor that Dancy's coat sleeve was wet. Windsor tries to explain this away by offering different explanations, but Canning does not accept any one of them. This shows that Canning begins to suspect Dancy of theft. Nevertheless, Windsor and Canning agree that D. Levi's accusation is intolerable and without any evidence. D. Levi is called back into the room by Canning and informed that his accusation has been made without any proof and that he must not repeat it. When D. Levi refuses to listen this argument, Canning tells him that he would be turned out of the English society if he makes this accusation publicly. Daily Weiss realizes that he is being blackmailed. He says so clearly, but Canning explains that it is not blackmailed. It is only one attempt to protect the aristocratic society from a person who does not behave in a gentlemanly manners. Realizing his difficulty, D. Lewis agrees that he would not repeat the accusation unless he got more proof. Now, Act Second, Scene First starts. Before this, we will discuss about the entire phenomenon. Dear students, the Windsor family who owns the house, that is your fashionable house, fashionable Meldon Court, There, there is one Jew whose name is, what is his name? Yes, let me know. T. Levi's, whose 1,000 pounds have been stolen by someone. The inspector is investigating the matter, and Dancy is doubted by D. Levi's that Dancy must have stolen the money. But Windsor and Canning, they are bitter about it. They oppose this accusation, and they force D. Levi's to take back his accusation and not to repeat it in public, simply because they think that the English aristocratic society will be defamed or will be insulted. Now the investigation goes on by the inspector. Meanwhile, this Canning and Windsor, they morally pressurize D. Levi's simply because D. Levi's is a single Jew and rest of the people they belong to British society. That is why he feels somewhat unconfident. Tomorrow we will discuss Act 2 and of the Act 2 of the play, Scene first and Scene second. That's all for today, and have a nice day. Dear students, go through the text thoroughly and try to understand through multiple sources. If you don't understand the gist of this play, you can consult with me. Dear students, it's not possible to go line by line in this video. We can discuss thoroughly the entire play, and we can also throw light upon several questions, several themes of the play. We will critically examine and assess the entire play. We will discuss questions and answers at the end of the play, but you need to be tuned with me. Please stay tuned with me. Thank you.